Black Myth Wukong, no microtransactions, no day one paid extra content, no modern day-isms. I think
no modern day-isms. I know what they're trying to say when they wrote that. It's still funny though.
we all know what that means. Designed for the base game to be replayed, not as a vehicle for DLC. Monkey King lore, not made by EA, Microsoft, or Ubisoft. Yeah, and I think this is really this is another reason why I think a lot of studios view games like Baldur's Gate 3, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Pow World as a threat. I think the reason why they're perceived as threats is because they raise the bar of expectations that players have. So, like, now.
He's right. No. It's a suspicion I've had for the longest of times. Ever since games have been coming out more broken and broken lately. Like, these are AAA studios. They should have enough money and hire the best people for the job to make these games run and be playable. But they're always, for some reason, a broken mess. Why? Because they expect the same people who love playing their games, their loyal fans, to buy their slop, their broken slop, in hopes of that, oh, if we give them money, they'll actually have enough money to make the game better. No. The thing is that they do have enough money to make the game better. They just choose not to. And what's a good example? Last of Us 2.
Now that Black Myth Wukong is released, you're going to see when Assassin's Creed comes out, people are going to compare Wukong with Assassin's Creed. They're going to say you were able to do.
Comparing a game based off of Chinese mythology to a game that takes place in feudal Japan in the age of the Sengoku era, the warring states period, and yet the main characters are a Japanese woman and a African man. The woman is a ninja, and the man is dressed as a samurai who wields a giant club instead of a katana. Huh. I thought Yasuke was a samurai. So why is he running around carrying a club instead of a katana? I don't get it. Unless there was scenes of him beheading people, which from what I've heard as well too. I've not seen those clips, by the way. But those scenes of the beheading really upset a lot of actual Japanese people who've seen it. But yeah, I'm getting off topic.
This in Wukong, but you can't do this in Assassin's Creed. This part is bad, and so basically, it's like it raises the bar for player expectations and like customer expectations. No, they won't. You really think that people won't compare? People are already comparing Assassin's Creed trailers to gameplay from 2012. Actually, sorry, excuse me, 2008, and the 2008 gameplay looks better. You really think they're not going to do that with a new game? Like,
people are going to compare. That's the whole sad thing about it. Right now, I'm playing a game called Aiden Chronicle, and the game's spiritual successor to Suikoden. That game also has its own share of controversies regarding localization, which, from what I've seen, it's going to be a very unpopular take. It's not as bad as it seems, personally. But maybe it's because I just enjoy the game enough that I don't seem to notice it or care about it as much. Because there's so much to do in the game itself, it doesn't matter to me. Although there are some things that do stick out in a way that just kind of rub me the wrong way. In terms of voice acting, the dialogue, of course. But I look at the Aiden Chronicle localization in the same vein as it used to be with Lunar Silver Star Story Complete. The PlayStation version. I played that one. And that one, the localization was really, really off the wall, full of pop culture references back in the day. Aiden Chronicle, 100 Heroes has the same thing. It's just the pop culture references it has in the game itself is stuff that, well, a lot of people would not like because, well, for those of you who got this far even, it's because of ideologies. But let's continue on.
Come on. It's kind of bad. No, it's not kind of bad. I think it's very fair. If somebody is producing a product that is inferior and you don't like it, then I think you have every right to express that you don't like it and not purchase it. And I think not purchasing it is the real issue.
Yeah.
Like something like Concord is a great example for that. Concord is this, like they thought this game was going to be.
If they could, I know I'm giving ideas, but I'm saying anyway, if they could, they would be able to take our money, our hard-earned money, from working in grocery stores, retail, fast food, office jobs, construction, independent stuff as well, contractors, deliveries, restaurants, all sorts. They would use our money with our permission to buy these games and inflate the numbers and say, oh, look, people do love this game. They love this game called Concord. Meanwhile, we look at our bank accounts and going, I didn't pay for this game. Who made me pay for this game? And you can get a lot of people calling the banks, all of the banks, going like, okay, why am I missing $70 from my account for a game called Concord? But believe me, if they could do it, they would do it. Don't let them do it. I know I'm giving an idea, but I'm giving the idea to give you a heads up. So if it does happen, don't be surprised. Just be prepared for it if it were to happen. I don't think it will, though, because they'll give all the banks a lot of headaches if that were to happen.
The next Overwatch, right? This was going to be the next big game that everybody's talking about. And it's been probably one of the biggest failures in gaming that I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, I think it's like, I actually think this is worse than Anthem. I do.
Unpopular take, I actually did like Anthem. Never played it, but I like the idea of, was it wearing like, I'm not sure if it was mecha suits or something, but you fly around and all that. That was pretty cool. Too bad the game was a buggy mess too, and that's actually the reason why it actually failed. It wasn't because of any woke shit back then. It was just the game was a buggy mess. Now, the game that came after it, I believe, I'm not sure if by the same studio, but I almost keep thinking it was Mass Effect Andromeda. That's the game that started the whole trend of the game is a buggy mess, and the heroine looks like a derp.
I think it's even worse than Anthem. And so, but because like Anthem was popular for at least like a month. This wasn't even popular for a day. The day before? No. The day before was also really bad. To be honest, everybody will talk about it. Well, everybody talks about Charles Manson. People talk about like Jeffrey Dahmer. That doesn't mean that these people are someone that you'd want to be friends with, like just because somebody talks about something doesn't necessarily mean that that's anything that's good. People talk about Superman 64 or E.T. on Atari sometimes too. Never in a good way.
Oh boy.
So we can always talk about like, oh yeah.
I've actually tried Superman 64. That game is actually terrible. The whole point is you're supposed to try and save people, but the controls are so bad. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to save people, but I'm trying to like figure out controls too, run around, and then the time is just ticking, and then by the time I figure things out, it's already over. I'm like, I'm not playing this game. It's too confusing. I played the N64 emulator, by the way. Yeah. Was it only for N64? I don't remember.
Yeah, well, just because people are talking about it, this is somehow like a W. The only people that think that are people that are stupid. And
Oh, he's right. Especially on the stupid part. They are actually stupid. People think that just because they talk about a game, it's a win for them. Just because it lives rent free in your head. No, 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 no. The game is the product. You need to pay money for the game for it to be considered a win. In the cases of the case of Hogwarts Legacy, there's a lot of backlash over the game, and yet that backlash caused a lot of people, including me, by the way. I own Hogwarts Legacy on both Steam and the Switch. And I even have a copy, European edition copy of it for the Switch as well. I meant to get the American version, but this is why you gotta read things carefully. Besides that, that game was worth actually getting. And I was gonna get it, whether or not the controversy was a thing. Although, depending on how the developers actually responded, that did also matter too. But I really wanted to play a sort of Harry Potter game for the longest of times, an open world one.
people that are coping, there's that too. I feel like people compare.
But yeah, you want your game to succeed, it has to make money. You want to win and, own the chuds, you better make sure your game that you support makes money. Kanzera, Zao, whatever, didn't make enough money. The studio shut down. What's another game studio that didn't make? Oh, Forspoken did so poorly, it shut the very studio that just recently opened for it to shut down. Luminous Studios. The meme. I fucking was it? I fucking moved it with my mind or something. I don't remember exactly how it went, but Frey shut down the studio with her mind. Yeah. I've seen the gameplay for Forspoken. It's alright. But the character is just unbearable to tolerate. Just unbearable. And the whole design of the game itself, it just looks so dead. I don't even know why they keep making games like that. If they really want to, stick it to the chuds, they gotta make it look better. But I think I know why they want to make it look that way. They don't want to follow the standards that gamers unanimously love about their games. Beautiful waifus, vibrant colors that pop out properly, character designs that stand out well, writing characters that are heroic, good, and if they're even bad or evil, they fit the point of being evil to the point of being evil, or being bad and could become evil, or could become good, or good becomes evil. Basically, nuance. I believe there was nuance at the end of Forspoken, but it came so late, including the development, that a lot of the channels I've seen play the game, they've all come to the conclusion that the game is just bad. It just wasn't even worth it. I mean, there was one guy who just had a lot more fun shooting the pigeons with water balls. If you guys know who that is, you know who I'm talking about.
It if it's something comparable to another game. So like you can't compare Elden Ring to Wukong unless it's based on combat. Well, that's clearly what people would be basing it off of, right? I mean, I feel like that's common sense, right? I mean, I don't know. That's what I would think. Such a clusterfuck. I feel bad for the devs. Will the suits learn to chase Fortnite money? It's like chasing the fucking dragon. It wasn't like chasing Fortnite money. It's very simple. Nobody wants to play ugly characters.
Yeah.
So if you make your characters ugly and fat, nobody wants to look at them.
Yep.
So why would people want to play your game? It's really just that simple. Like there's actually no other fine print to it. There's nothing else to it.
Yeah. They say beauty's subjective, is in the eye of the beholder. I mean, you can say that, but regardless, we do have standards. And the beauty standards usually has to do with health reasons too. No guy, if he's sane enough, does not want to be with a woman that is twice or triple his weight. Let's just say the bedroom antics will be horrible for both of them. And no woman is going to be with a guy who sits on his ass all day playing games and doing nothing productive unless he can actually stand up for himself or something other. I don't know what's going with this, but it's almost similar. Men prefer women in terms of appearance. Women also prefer men in terms of appearance, but it's always been like this lately. It's been lately this double standard of the women looking as ugly as actual men, and the men look like pretty boys, or they're so exaggeratingly muscular, handsome, buff, eye candy for the women. Basically, it's the whole trope of the little sister demands to be in the big brother's treehouse. She finally gets away after complaining to daddy about it, and then she goes inside. She changes everything. He can't say anything about it. Eventually, the brother and his friends decide to just go up and leave the treehouse, let her have it, and do something else. And then the little sister gets tired of whatever the treehouse is anymore and leaves it. And the treehouse is a mess. Nobody ever goes back to it. That's what's happened to the gaming industry. Of both men and women. No, I didn't just say women. I said men as well too. I said men first, by the way. Men and women who are allowing this to happen.
It's just that simple. Like, if I see a game, Roadhog W, yeah, but Roadhog's in the same game that Widowmaker is, right? Imagine if you had a whole game full of Roadhogs. That's like Animal Farm. So,
Yeah.
that's a book, so you didn't have to see him. And it's like being fat IRL is enough. Yeah, exactly. And Roadhog is also cool. Yeah, there you go. And so, yeah, this is the way it is for Wukong. Loses 10 million, 20 million users as soon as Chinese peak hours ends. Well, yeah, of course. I mean, this game is like huge in China, like big fucking surprise. Who didn't expect that? Yeah, absolutely. Why is Monkey King War so?
Yeah. It's true. The Journey to the West and Romance of Three Kingdoms and are like two of the most prolific Chinese novels to this very day. There's another one I believe called The Water Margin, which I'm going to bring up again, was actually what inspired Suikoden. I think Suikoden does translate to the water margin. I'm not sure. Played a long time ago, but I never even knew until years later. Crazy how things work.
Funny to me? Yeah, it is funny. I can't enjoy this game without a battle pass. We still have hope, Baldur's Gate, and now this. Yeah, I feel like we've had a lot of really good games recently.
Oh, Lies of P.
It's
I want
just
to play
that Concord and Marvel beta was the same day, and people saw the difference. Well, yeah, the Marvel beta looked like a good game. Once your games come, Future Games React, and I feel bad for you. I had to take breaks watching on YouTube.
He's
I
talking
felt
about
like
Marvel
a chore to go
Rivals,
through
by
that
the
entire
way.
stream. Yeah, some of those games were really bad. You got me hooked on Monkey. Yeah, there you go. And where's the big titty anime girls that you can spend thousands of dollars on a gambling mechanic, literally unplayable? Yeah, nobody really gives a shit about this kind of stuff. They just care about the gameplay. And if the gameplay is good, then that's what matters. Also, like, I am very much, and this is going to maybe get me in some trouble, I am very much a firm believer in games made for guys and games made for girls. Okay? We have this defined in manga.
I am too.
This is defined in movies. It's defined in clothes. It's defined everywhere. But the Monkey King game is a game made for men. There aren't even any women in this story. There's like, you don't even like, I was thinking about this. I like, where were there any girls? Like, no. Did I even notice that? Absolutely fucking not.
I'm kidding,
No,
China,
I had no
please.
idea. There are, yeah, later on. Like, I mean, not like, yeah, way later on. But like, that's, yeah, there's spiders. Yeah, there's snakes. No, in general, right? Nobody gives a shit. Like, and like, these are games that are made for guys. And guy games are like, so you want to think about guy games. What are guy games? Guy games, Space Marine 2, Black Myth Wukong, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Age of Empires, the old God of War games, Armored Core 6, Doom. And so you see all these games, right? And this is a different vibe of games that are for girls, right? They're made more for a female audience. They have a totally different vibe, totally different aesthetic, and it's a totally different environment. And it's not like all the female games are like the stupid phone games. Like, oh yeah, you want to think what are the girl games? Candy Crush, Animal Crossing, and you know, like, I don't know, some other bullshit phone, The Sims. Yeah, no, it's actually not that simple, right? Because like, there's a lot of girls that play Valorant and like League of Legends too. But like, at the end of the day, Black Myth Wukong is definitely, it's a guy game. It's a game made for guys.
Yep.
Made for guys. Yeah. That's absolutely. Like, it's not, it's a testosterone game. Yes. Like, yeah, guy games are, that's it. For Chinese guys, yeah. And some of us over here in the US. Yeah, it's not weird. This isn't a weird thing. I feel like the world has gone so crazy that this idea has just completely escaped people's reality. So yeah, of course this is it. I agree, having a dynamic at different games causes different audiences. Yeah, and you're always going to have overlap. There's going to be girls that love Space Marine 2 and guys that love The Sims. But I'm talking about averages. And I think this is true with a lot of averages. I'm a female and I want all the audience and all I can get. No, I know that. And there's always going to be people that are overlap, but they're not the norm. Yeah, this is, here we go. Great point. Yep, there you go. Why we can finally feel represented. Well, the funny thing is the only people that were saying this were white. And that's literally me. Yeah, everybody sees this character and I think it's cool. That's because, in my opinion, this is like a meta level opinion, is that I think that what causes guys to relate to characters is traits and not visuals. That's why, for example, you can have somebody like Goku that everybody likes, somebody like Dion from Final Fantasy 16, somebody like Sephiroth, or somebody like Dante, or somebody like Conan the Barbarian.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't matter. Vegeta, yeah, it's all basically the same thing, because it's about the behavior, right? It's about the behavior and like what it represents, rather than like the image of the person themselves. And what I mean is, like, it doesn't have to be like some big, super strong, muscular guy. Like, that definitely helps, but it's not a one-to-one. Then skills, yeah. I don't know why, yeah, look at Master Chief. Yeah, I'm Master Chief, exactly. I read somewhere that boys imagine that they become the hero while the girl imagine the hero becomes her, something like that. Yeah, maybe it's something like that, I don't know. Cultural amateurs meddling in the work of designers and artists are non-needers. Yeah, that's what it seems like, man. I don't think this really had anything to do with Sweet Baby or anything like that. I think that honestly the game was just really good, and that's really all there is to it. Good games are good, bad games are bad. It's that simple. There's a trend in China where women are cosplaying and doing makeup inspired by one of the spider ladies in Black Myth. Wukong, while some Western gaming journalists criticized the game for lacking diversity and accused it for hating women, it seems to be loved by Asian women. It's pretty good to me. What a surprise. I mean, to be fair, I think that like in any video game that has hot characters, you're going to have hot girls cosplaying the hot characters.
Yep.
Like, that's just the way it is. It's like basically free real estate. So
and
yeah,
no
of course
guy's
this is
gonna
what's
argue
happening.
with that. Or the lesbians.
Maybe there weren't any women in Journey to the West story. Well, here's the reality, okay? Is that in a story about combat in a medieval age, there are going to be no women in that story. Because women are weaker than men, and they don't exist in combat roles. Outside of like 5 or 6 historical examples, that's it. So
Yep.
if you've got a story about fighting and, people killing each other, and this is from the 1500s, there's not going to be any fucking women in that story.
Yeah. Everything he says actually lines up. That's why that Battlefield 5 game with the female protagonist with the cybernetic arm didn't make a single bit of sense. Yeah, it looked cool, but from what I've heard, the games have always been more historically almost accurate. So this was just out of nowhere, made no sense. That one was out of nowhere, made no sense. No, I haven't played the game. I'm just mentioning something that's happened that I remember hearing about way back then. But yeah, sorry for anyone's fifis who gets hurt out there, but women historically did not have combat roles on average or the majority. There are always the few exceptions, the underlying ones, but they do not count to make a majority or the average. Alright? You can do in your fantasies all you want. Horizon, Zero Dawn, Forbidden West, Forspoken, whatever else other games you got out there that take place in a fantasy setting with female fighters or warriors or knights or whatever. Fine, but stop acting like the history's always had them.
What about sorceresses? Yeah, there's a funny thing about that, right? Basically, Xena Warrior Princess wrote Brienne of Tarth. Yeah, really interesting. Really interesting thing about that. Yeah, really, really funny. Yeah, in fantasy games, that's the difference, and so that's the way I see it. And did you see Destiny debated the Tiger King? No, I didn't see that. And those are the exception. They are. Yeah, they do, and to do it because it's hype too. The dude used faulty logic. Cosplay and Wukong is popular there, so of course there's going to be people cosplaying it regardless of representation. About that, I agree with you. Female characters game science, if you don't know, is a Chinese company. What is this? These are the female characters in the game?
Oh yeah, they're attractive.
Yeah, this one's really hot. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, this is good to me. Absolutely. Boudica was a real Viking
Chinese
woman.
beauty standards.
Really? That's crazy because the last time that I checked, that was a very faulty and unknown certainty whether she even it's like it's and by the way, the only reason why she went on a warpath was because her husband, who was the actual guy that was the warrior, got killed. So yeah, it's Celtic, Viking. I think it was Celtic. Yeah, I believe it
Celtic,
was.
I think.
But either way, that's not even confirmed historically. Keep that in mind. That is not a historically confirmed fact. It's dubious. So yeah, Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc was a religious zealot. There were people that led in combat, of course. Yeah, sure. But I'm talking about people that are like stories that are about like guys fighting. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know. If people can't understand what I'm saying here, I'm sorry to say, but you like, this is the kind of person that if you make a general statement and somebody feels like it doesn't reflect on them, they're the ones that like speak up about it, right? They're like, well, what about me, or what about that? Yeah, no, well, what about this? There are always going to be exceptions to rules.
Please get the what about
but the exceptions are simply not the norm. So that's it. Let's see here. It streamed yesterday. Thank you. I appreciate it. Called whataboutism? Yeah, exactly. I'm an outlier. Yeah, there's always going to be outliers. Well, this guy has infinite social credits for the rest of his life. Asia has picked up on many of my tweets about Black Myth Wukong in mainstream news as they slam Western media lies about, is this really true? Oh my god, this is so fucking funny.
Why are they trying to lie about China? I thought China was their ally.
Oh my fucking, that's so funny to me.
That friendly fire is really just the funniest thing, man. It's like, oh, you can't make fun of China. You can't accuse China of doing this. They're our ally. And also them. Oh, how dare they try to make a game that doesn't include that doesn't include diversity? Do you want diversity or do you not want diversity? Make up your mind. Really. But yeah. Yeah, this game's doing really well, ain't it? Anyways, that's it.